Shalom, Kal Halalim, La Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles of GMS, who I learned this truth from, who rule well, and salutations unto you Akim and Aquathium that take heed. May Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai increase your faith in these times that we are in. This lesson is based off an article I found, and I was reading into it, basically dealing with feminism and how that ties in with the scriptures. If you watch the interview with Aaron Russo, who was actually a movie producer, I'm not sure if he was a director, but he actually produced the movie Trading Places. And there's a video of him in an interview with Alex Jones. And he's talking about how he basically had a sit down with Rockefeller, and he was discussing certain things, and he was made privy certain plans of the elites. The chip being one, the microchip being one of them, right? But in the interview, he also mentioned about feminism, right? How that was a thing that the elites started, the elitists or the oligarchy, whatever word you want to use. Basically, your rulers, man, right? So this is from a website called isgp-studies.com. Down to the point here, right? It's an article. The article is called Globalist Feminism, Liberal CIA Foundations as Soros, Ford, Buffett, and Rockefeller financing almost all major LGBTQ protest groups, right? Which Soros is the guy that I believe also funded Black Lives Matter, right? So it says, intro, the primary purpose of this article. I'm going to read into this, not a lot, but a little extensively, if you will, and then the Lord's will get into scriptures. So it says, the primary purpose of this article is to demonstrate that the entire international feminist and LGBTQ obsession of the media and politics, especially since the Obama years, actually is heavily financed by superclass elites and its countless liberal CIA foundations, Soros, Buffett, Ford, Rockefeller, Carnegie, Gates, etc. In particular, we are talking here about so-called grassroots action groups, regularly stage an independent, in quotations hyphenated, protest to demand for social change. It's all stage play. The organizers and many of the core participants always are tied with international NGOs and political parties, with whole armies of Antifa anarchists and communists being coordinated by the European Union and Soros's Open Society foundations. The U.S. has its own structures. In a way, elites backing these types of movements is nothing new. Planned Parenthood, a key NGO for feminist causes until the present day, was founded in 1921 and maintained in the early decades through the efforts of key Eastern establishments, in parentheses, Pilgrims Society, families as Morgan, Carnegie, Rockefeller, Warburg, Rothschild, Vanderbilt, Schiff. These are all top guys, man. You know what I mean? These are all top guys, man. These are all bloodlines of the elites, right? And others. This was fine and even beneficial until the late 20th century, when these networks started to take an even more extreme character, with women being put up against men, the destruction of traditional and very necessary gender roles in society, and now possibly even the total destruction of the whole concept of gender, which is very true. And that was this was started during the time of really each decade, right? Each decade they bring in these things, and there's different names for them, different tactics that they use, like Hegelian dialect. Hegelian dialect, if you look it up, which we did years ago, because the apostles told us to look it up, and when we looked it up, man, it went pretty deep into how these devils control both sides of the spectrum and basically leave you trapped. Right? Hegelian dialect has for example, a synthesis and an anti-synthesis, right? Or sorry, not a synthesis, a thesis and an antithesis, right? So basically, two people debate. One person has an argument, the next person has the next argument. There's a debate, and basically after that, there's a synthesis, which is a coming together, which is what? Confusion, which is what Babylon means. Babel, confusion. Confusion means with fusion. So everything and everybody together is what? Confusion. And the Lord is not the author of confusion, right? Pursuant to the book of 1 Corinthians, right? This place is all messed up, man. You see? But they use that tactic, the Hegelian dialectic, right? They present this side and that side. Oh, they get a reaction from the people. And that's another one. Problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem, they get a reaction, and they give you the solution. Ordo abkeo is another tactic. These devils, that's why it says in the book of 2 Corinthians, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Ordo abkeo means order by chaos, or order through chaos. Right? So all these things, man, they control, and they think that you have a free opinion and you have rights and you have a say in the matter, when that's not the case, man. You know, not to get off track. But that's the whole point of what I was saying is this gender thing about you actually destroying the concept of there's a gender. You're saying there's multiple genders. There's not just male and female. That's what you're basically saying. Right? And that was done again through 2010 decade. Going into what? Right now, that's been a whole decade, 2020. And that's an established thing. That's in shows, that's in pop culture, that's in media, etc. Right? So Overton window is a good term to look up. Overton window. Right? Overton window. Right? That's really how they do it, man. They bring it in, and right now they're doing that with what? Pansexuality. Look that up. These are ancient things, man. That's why it says in the scriptures, that which hath been is that which shall be. And there is no new thing under the sun. So back then you had a god called Pan. And what did he have sex with? Anything. And that's what they're bringing in with the slogan, love is love. Slowly, it's creeping in, and until it becomes acceptable. At first it's a shock, and it's denied, rejected, but it's slowly there, man. And then laws come in, and then that's your society. And these societies existed in the ancient world. There's nothing new under the sun. Politics, the media, NGOs, and Hollywood actors are all playing a very key role in this agenda. Initially, it wasn't worth getting into, but now that so many company managers, government employees, and even ordinary citizens are drinking the extremist feminist and LGBTQ Kool-Aid. It might not be bad to include a few chapters on this page with scientific numbers that demonstrate the obvious, namely that there are more certainly considerable evolutionary emotional differences between men and women. Right? And, you know, these are things that this society shows that it's backwards, man. You know, we live in a matriarchal society. Really, we live in a godless society, if you will. You know? And that's just what it is. Going down here. It says, and that these are being ignored and exploited by the superclass in no small part to artificially separate large voter blocks and turn them away from equally managed anti-third world immigration populist thought. It says, You bet that elites have studied these numbers and know exactly how to pressure and appeal the emotion of women. They pay attention to all the numbers. First the polls, and then how to sway all these polls into their favor by manipulating the population along threat-based gender and ethnic lines. 1% can make all the difference. That's how politics work. The numbers were not all equal. Right? So equality and all these things, right? The Lord, first of all, the Lord, he's a separatist. Tells you that in the book of Exodus 32 or 33. The Lord is a separatist, man. Right? It says, how does that popular mantra go? We're all equal. Salakia. Must have clicked something. It says, it sounds nice. And again, what are we taught by the apostles? Look up words. What does the word nice mean? When you look up the word nice in the etymology, which is the root, right? The root understanding of the word nice means fool, foolish. That's why even in the world, man, there's a saying, nice guys finish last. Or don't finish at all. Because the woman plays you for a damn fool. And you are a fool. You got to smarten up, man. That's why you got MGTOW and, all these different movements, Red Pill and all these things. Because men are waking up. And they had enough of being fools, man. Okay? It says, it sounds nice and most people still assume it's true without thinking about it, but we're not. It's a lie, ignoring skin color, races around the world are not equal in genetic IQ, crime numbers, physical traits, technological achievement, culture, etc. And I think this dude, he might be like a so-called, what do you call it? Maybe a neo-Nazi, but the Aryan or whatever, But nonetheless, there's information that he drops that's accurate, right? But at the end of the day, skin color alone has nothing to do with a person's quality, right? It's really the genetic makeup because you have two components in biology, which is the phenotype and the genotype, right? The genotype is the genetic makeup. The phenotype is the external, the appearance, right? And when you actually look it up, the genotype, you can have two people with the same genotype, but they have a different phenotype, right? And you can have the same people, vice versa, right? That would be basically translates to people with a different skin color. They can have a different genetic makeup, and you don't know, or vice versa. A person with skin color, you can have, you think they can have that genetic makeup, but they don't. So it's all up in the Most High's hands, man. Really, at the end of the day, right? Hence, maybe it's about time to shelve the equality mantra. The more one thinks about it, the sillier it sounds. Maybe when we're all flying high on LSD, then we're all equal. But down here on planet Earth, Darwin rules. We can aspire to be nice to each other and treat each other honorable as far as possible on this planet, with its limited spaces and resources. But that's about it. Yeah, this guy clearly is a Darwinist. But again, he drops facts. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but he has a difference between male and female violence. Male purpose gain power through more money, influence, status being bigger. Women gain power through keeping what is, preventing change. Methods, attacking, conquering, explicit, visible. Women's methods or female methods, defend, implicit, invisible. Expressions, male, physical aggression, verbal aggression, sexual abuse. Expressions, emotional violence, neglect, refuse, deprive, verbally bring down. Examples: overwhelm, beat, rape, destroy, lock up, kill, and intimidate, threaten, punish, or blackmail with the above. And women examples, female examples: seduce, de-energize, which is a succubus spirit, retreat, ridicule, manipulate, blame, gossip, belittle, emotional blackmail, make jealous. And that's why the scripture says there is no wickedness to the wickedness of a woman in the Apocrypha. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Okay, that's all that means, man. And again, this guy brings out charts. I'm not gonna get into that. But I'm gonna get into these scriptures, into the book of Revelations 18. Revelation 18 and 1. It says, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." Babylon the Great being America today, man. Right? And that wine represents what? Her philosophies, her ideas and concepts and theories, which are very conjectural in nature, man. Meaning, yeah, you guys bring out a lot of shit. You guys say a lot of shit, but there's no proof at the end, man. You guys still claim about evolution, evolution, Big Bang theory, right? Your government though just admitted that UFOs exist. The Pentagon released footage, first time ever, of UFOs with their, I believe, the newly recruited pilots. They recorded footage of it, man. And he's talking about there's 120 knot winds, and this thing is just gliding through the air, man. You know, you're high up in the sky. You know how crazy the wind's up there, man. That's how the whirlwind comes up. It comes down from the top. But again, man, all these nations are drinking of the wine, and there's only a few left that really don't. But you know, the media, man, is a motherfucker, man. It's Satan, man. That's all it is. Because everybody now they can get Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all this shit, and you can be corrupted by the wine, right? And how do you prove the wine is different philosophies, right? Because you say, oh, the wine, what does that mean? It's the different philosophies. This is the book of Isaiah 29 and 9. "Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry, they are drunken, but not with wine." The point is, it's alluding wine, right? It's still bringing out the wine, but it's saying you're not drunk with wine. You didn't consume alcohol. They stagger, but not with strong drink. You didn't consume alcohol. But here's the point: the scripture, the precept that proves a lot of times in the scriptures when it's talking about wine, it's not talking about physical wine. Isaiah 24 is another chapter, I believe, that speaks about wine, right? Verse 10, "For the Lord Yahweh hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers hath he covered." See? That's that one. Listen, man, when you're in that crazy spirit, you're drunk. And really look, what happens when you're drunk? Your senses, they get lost. It gets blurry, man. Your judgment isn't up to par. You're more blinded and more susceptible to damage and things, right? Like me and the brothers were talking, man, and you going to Caravana, that's madness, man. Like there's a time you can go and you were straight. Everybody was straight. Everything was good. But now, man, you don't know what's what. There's people coming from New York, different places in the States, people here. You don't know who's a woman and who's not. You guys think that you can spot a she-male even when you're sober. That's how good the surgery is. So when you're drunk, man, that's what it's talking about, rioting and banquetings and revelings and all that shit. You're not supposed to be in that spirit, man. That's a crazy spirit to be in. Yes, you drink physical wine and alcohol, but even as a mindset, as a person, the Most High is looking at you like you're drunk. You have no judgment. You're staggering everywhere. You're vomiting. You don't even know. Your acts are just reviling, right? And that was really it. That's what I wanted to bring out about the wine, um, and the feminism, right? Because that's a backwards thing. The Lord set up. Like, we can finish on this. The Lord, He set up order. It's a patriarchal order, man, and you're seeing the consequences of society. How your daughters, your children, they're all a bunch of sluts, man. And it's a, you can fight that all day long, and oh my God, how do you? Well, look, man, they're exposed to too many things. You have to understand, women in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the damn 80s, television and whatnot came. But I'm talking about right in your palm, right in the palm of your hands. Super, at the speed of light, information just flying at you. Things you're not understanding, man. Like last year, I remember I was working construction, and I was on my lunch, and I went to Tim Hortons, and there was these kids there. There were 4 or 5 kids. They must have been like, man, 12, 13, 14 at the most. And these two girls, man, they're just on their phone, like glued, and people are talking to them. And their phone, their eyes are just, their head is just glued to their phone. They're typing. Oh my God, no, I need to do this. And I'm just like, this is madness, man. This is how they get the children, man. Right? That's how they get them. It's a dopamine rush. It plays on your hormones. There's a lot of things that happen. Right? There's a lot of things that happen, man. And you people are blinded, and you're not understanding these things, man. Right? You're not understanding these things. Might be 11. Right? This is 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Mashiach Yahushai, which is the Lord, so-called Jesus. And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Yahushai, Mashiach, is the Most High Yahweh. So that's the order. That is the order, man. Let's look up that word head. Right? Let's look up that word head in the Greek. The word head.
Strong's G 2776. Kephale.
Kephale, which means the head, both of men and often of animals, since the loss of the head destroys life. This word is used in the phrases relating to capital and extreme punishment. Metaphor, anything supreme, chief, prominent. This is why Sarah called Abraham Lord. Lord doesn't mean God, or we people think, oh, you're calling him the one and only. No, Lord is a title. Lord is a title of reverence. You respect that person. Lord, my Lord, right? See, so that's what that means, man. And this place is out of whack, man. You're seeing these kids, man. Sex trafficking is up as so high because these like that documentary Centoy Brown on Netflix. You know why? Because these kids, man, 15, 16, they go and they try this shit because they have no guidance. It's a free liberal society, right? It's all upside down, man. But I hope you're edified. I want to say Kahalalim, La Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachakodash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone once again, who rule well, and salutations and blessings to you, Akim and Aquathim. Shalom.